KTRS. Trying to get his velocity up.
840, Big 550, KTRS. One of the good friends of the show, and I've known him for years, CEO, Executive Director of the Pujols Family Foundation, Mr. Todd Perry. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Before we get to why you're here, Albert's sitting on $5.99.
$5.99. Yeah, I thought last night would be it, but yeah. There's always tomorrow, right?
Is he pressing hard, or have you had a chance to talk to him? Or?
You know, we've texted a couple times yesterday, but I think it's, and you know, anytime you have something like that, the more you think about it, the harder it becomes.
Right,
and I think he's trying to distance himself a little bit from it.
Right.
Everybody keeps bringing it up, so it's, you know, it's something he kind of just wants to go out there and play, but it's kind of hard not to be looking for it and talking about
600 is a pretty, I mean, there's not a lot of people in the world who've ever hit 600 home runs. I mean, what is it? Seven people who have?
Yeah, last night he passed Babe Ruth in total hits. And then, but yeah, he would be the ninth person to hit
600 home runs.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet deal. All right, you send him our best, of course, when next time you talk to him.
I will.
All right, Carlos Martinez is St. Louis, and what's going on here? Are you helping him out?
Well, actually, he is helping us out.
Okay.
And then in reverse, we're going to help him out in the Dominican Republic. Tsunami Waves, as you know, is his foundation. And they're doing some great work in the Dominican Republic. And he and Albert were talking in the off season, and Marissa Diaz and myself were talking, which is his director for his foundation.
Right.
And yeah, just the planets aligned for Carlos to help us out on our golf tournament this year, which is August 21st at Meadowbrook.
Right.
And we're going to raise some money to do a medical mission trip in the Dominican Republic, which we've done for 11 years now. But this year, we're going to Puerto Plata, which is Carlos's home, and they were devastated by floods last year.
Right.
And something Albert was very sensitive to, and talking to Carlos, we said, let's do this together, and let's go and serve the people in the Bates in that region, which we've never been to.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's a real win-win for both of our organizations, and ultimately we get to serve a new population of people.
Carlos Martinez was on the Cardinal Cruise with Altair Travel, and Pat Blassie took a group of the people on a bus trip to his hometown.
That is correct.
And when she came back, she told a story that would just break your heart, and I mean, talked about how he is fully committed to this type of stuff.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I think a lot of these guys come over, from the Dominican Republic, and the cities they play for have no idea the conditions that they lived in.
Right.
And you see they're very successful now, and they have a great lifestyle now, but they're never far away from where they grew up. And I know that's Carlos's heart, that's Albert's heart, I mean, most of the Dominican people that I know and Dominican ball players that I know, I mean, they're never far away from being that little boy again with no shoes and in these bates.
In a sense, you would expect people to grow up bitter and angry, but they're not, right? And the Dominican people are about as loving as you can get.
Well, you don't know what you don't have, and I think that's the spirit of these people. They they don't have anything, but it's all they know.
Right.
And so there's really no they don't look at us and think, oh wow, it's the rich Americans that have all, because they really don't have any point of context.
Right.
I mean, most of these people live with maybe 2 to 4 hours electricity a day, so they really don't have any TV. They don't have radio. They don't have anything to really reach them outside of their village. And I mean, I know people that are adults that have never left their village.
Right.
And it's it's a completely different lifestyle. I mean, they have no there's no safety net for social services, or I mean, there's no hospitals, there's no fire departments, there's no paramedics, there's no clinics, and they exist, and it's hard for us to get our minds around and arms around until we go there. But it's their way of life and what they deal with every day, and that's why there's a call to action for us, to go and serve.
Well, and what will you do when you go over there then?
Well, we'll take, on this trip, we'll take doctors, we'll take nurses, we'll take pediatricians, we'll take optometrists, we'll take dentists. We have full pharmacy, we do HIV testing. So we bring an entire clinic into these areas that sometimes, I mean, some of these people haven't seen a doctor at all, or that, their children are, 5 or 6 years old and never have been treated by a doctor. It's hard for us to imagine that,
Right.
but it's a reality for these people in these villages.
Well, and some of these things, it's like glasses. It's simple things that they just don't even. It's the furthest thing. I mean, it's like going to the moon for them, but it's going to Walgreens for us.
Well, and Albert talked about that too, where there are free clinics that if you can get into the city and you can get and wait and
If you can get in there.
if you can get in there and then you can afford the medication, there's all of these sort of tiers that you kind of have to go through, but eventually you may be able to see a doctor. But if you need dental work or if you need glasses, if you don't have money, forget it.
Right.
I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
And you think about the children that may be failing school because they just can't see the blackboard. But no one's ever tested their eyes. I mean, and even if they knew that they can't read, there's really no other alternative for them unless we bring the doctors there.
And forget it. I mean, there's no road that goes from the village to the city to get to the doctor.
Forget
everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Todd Perry. Albert's clearly playing for the California Angels, Anaheim Angels. I don't know what they're called anymore. But he's decided to keep the Pool House Foundation here in St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean, this is our home. I mean, we started 12 years ago in St. Louis, and we serve a population of 800 families with Down syndrome in St. Louis, and that commitment's never waned. It never will wane. I mean, this is, we expanded our mission to California, and we're doing some work in Tennessee, we're doing some work in Kansas City and San Diego and different places, but St. Louis is always home. I mean, they still live here.
Right.
They still have a home here. And, that's not going to change.
All right, so the golf tournament's August 21st. What else do we need to know? How can we find out more information? How can we play? How can we get involved?
Well, we do still have foursomes available. We just reach out to us at 314-878-2105, which is our office number, or you can just do info at poolhousefamilyfoundation.org, and don't forget the .org because it won't go through at .com. So
right, Pool House Family Foundation. The phone number one more time.
It's 314-878-2105. And one really cool thing about August 21st is if you talk to your meteorologist, they already have this circled on their calendar. It's the day of the full solar eclipse.
That's right.
So we are going to have some really special things at 1:10 or whenever that is.
Glow-in-the-dark balls, I guess.
We already have the glasses here.
And in my understanding, right over Meadowbrook is directly the path of the eclipse. So it will, I guess for 2 minutes, it will go completely dark, which will be really cool.
So for 2 minutes, you're not going to be able to find your ball. All right, Todd Perry, CEO, Executive Director of the Pool House Family Foundation, teaming up with Carlos Martinez and the Pool House Family Foundation. You're always welcome here. Tell everybody we said hi.
Thank you.
Thanks.
848, Big 550.